What it do, baby? It's your boy Baki back with another one. So they finally released the actual trailer for Watchmen Chapter 1. Not Chapter 2 now, just Chapter 1. Before it was a teaser of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. This is just a trailer for Chapter 1. I really wanted to check this out, talk a little bit about Watchmen, and then we go from there. Let's just jump right into it. If you guys haven't done so, please subscribe. We're doing reaction videos. We're doing reviews. I do everything and anything on this channel. It's a wide variety channel, so if you want to see a bunch of cool stuff, follow your boy. Let's get into it.
October 13th, 1985.
Not a fan of this man's voice. I'm going to be honest with you already from the jump. That's my biggest rub off from the last time we listened to this, and it still feels the same. Rorschach's voice is supposed to sound grizzled, but not as this man sounds like he's been gargling fucking glass. No disrespect, but let's go.
October 13th, 1985.
Almost Batman.
On Friday night, a comedian died in New York.
Wow.
Somebody knows why. These days, nobody's safe.
The comedian is dead.
You're supposed to be the world's smartest man, Fight. Ian was active for 40 years. Men make a lot of enemies in that time.
Blake was a monster.
We're society's only protection.
Protection from who?
From themselves.
This city is afraid of me. I have seen its true face.
Maybe this was a political killing.
Or maybe someone's picking off costumed heroes.
I thought I knew how the world was, but then I found out about this gang. I never should have got involved.
Doesn't fit. Waiting for a flash of enlightenment.
A world grows up around me, but am I shaping it?
I want to know who's behind this!
It's a joke, but I don't get it!
Every day, the future looks a little bit darker. But the past keeps getting brighter all the time.
It is too late. Always has been. Always will be.
Who's behind this?
I don't know!
Not convincing.
I don't know!
There is good and there is evil, and evil must be punished. Even in the face of Armageddon. I shall not compromise on this.
Interesting, man. Okay, so I said this before with the last one we did. Like, you know, this is Watchmen's first true animated version that they've ever had. They've never had an animated version of Watchmen. You know, it's always been the motion comic, the live action movie, and then the animated Tales from the Freighter. But there's never been an actual like animated Watchmen. So with that being said, they have a chance to really strike it down to be exactly like the comic. And I know people want liberties and you guys want to hear it different, but so many people don't even know the original version of Watchmen. So I would much prefer them go straight in depth and do not panel for panel, but try to do every scene that they possibly can to make it feel like the comics come to life. Oh wow, I didn't realize it's Troy Baker and Yuri Lowenthal, so it's Spider-Man and Joker. That's cool. So for me personally, this actually excites me. I was actually getting a little bit of chills and tingles towards the middle when I realized, man, this is going to be a two-parter. And just even in these moments here where you're looking at like young comedian and stuff, I would love to see like how they portray all of this stuff. Because to me, Watchmen is great, but what I really love about Watchmen is the stuff that they made after Watchmen. So the Watchmen TV show I love, and I even like before Watchmen. Like, I like how they showed how the comedian was before he was, who Dr. Manhattan was. The only one I didn't really like was Silk Spectre before Watchmen. I even loved Adrian Veidt before Watchmen, bro. Like, those comic books to me are really good expanders, even though they're not like, you know, Alan Moore's like original like intent or anything like that. It's just other people who's had ideas that they wanted to expand on Watchmen, because DC does whatever they want with this franchise now because, you know, Alan Moore don't want nothing to do with it anymore. So I think personally, this is an awesome entrance level to get into Watchmen. So then you can, you know, if let's say you enjoy this, you're like, oh, what is next? What's next? We don't want to go to the live action Zack Snyder Watchmen. Although that is a decent version, he fetishizes them a little too much, and they're too overpowered and fight almost like they have powers. So that needs to be dialed down a bit. The better way to go is to maybe watch this chapter 1, chapter 2, and then go into the HBO version. See? And then you watch the HBO version, which continues directly after the comic book and gives you like all of the information that you were curious about, and then even expands on other ideas, which is why I love the TV show. The TV show is one of my absolute favorite one-season shows that exist on this planet, bro. I absolutely love it. So I'm very, very excited for this, man. This looks freaking amazing. My only thing about it is I'm not a big fan of 3D animation. Now that is what I don't like. See, for me, 3D animation really doesn't do it well enough for me. They look great in stills, but when things are in motion, sometimes it just has this like weirdness to me that doesn't feel right. Again, it almost gives me Ultimate Spider-Man vibes. Like that looks like Spider-Man from the MTV show, right? It still looks really good though, but it's just not something that's my preference of art. But that doesn't mean it's going to be bad. If it's Watchmen, it's going to be great because I love the Watchmen story. I'm wondering, see, the thing about it is Zack Snyder's Watchmen, aside from the ending and, you know, a couple extra lines here or there, majority of it is one for one. So I'm curious to see what liberties they take here that maybe Zack didn't take, or what other things they add that, you know, Zack chose to leave out of the comics. Like, are they going to have the group, the two girls that are like in love that are fighting across the street, or the one that's like a taxi girl or a taxi driver or whatever, or are Benny and Bernard both going to be you know, prominent figures while the story's going on like they were in the comics? Like, it really, that's what I'm most curious to see, is how they actually handle it. Because here's something that I'll say about most DC projects, right? And we're getting a little crazy, a little tangent, but it's a short one. Most DC projects, like, let's say Dark Knight Returns Part 1, Part 2, love those, right? But the only difference is, in the comics, you still get more information than you do in the actual, like, animated version, because of the fact that there's monologues and there's inner monologues, right? They take all of that out in almost all versions of live action or even animated movies. Batman Year One, The Long Halloween, Dark Knight Part 1, Part 2, you name it. If it's been something that's been in comics, a lot of the time, a lot of the inner monologues will be taken out, and you lose a piece of said comic or inspiration that drew on people or grew on people. Perfect example is in Batman Year One, the actual panel where the dude's on fire, his screams go across all the panels. He's like, no, going across all the panels. But when it happens in the movie, he just burns up and that's it. You know, and Batman saying to himself as the dude's burning and his screams are permeating through every panel as Batman's running away. He's saying, like, you can't save them all. You can't save them all. You can't save them all. In the animated version, it just happens, right? You cannot do that with Watchmen. Watchmen monologues are just as vital as the actual visual stimulant that you're getting. Both need to happen. You can't have Dr. Manhattan sit here and not do inner monologues while he's talking about himself seeing the world for how he views it. You can't have, you know, Rorschach running around the city without those inner monologues. So it's a very, very vital part of Watchmen. So to me, that's what I love about, like, Watchmen in general, is like, it can't be done any other way. You have to have these. Like I said, Dark Knight Returns Part 1, Part 2, love that, the movies, bro. I love the movies. And they're very close to the comic, right? But again, you still are like missing something in that translation. Whereas here, we might not be missing anything. They could do beat for beat, pound for pound, word for word, bar for bar. I don't know if they're going to, right? But that is a possibility that could happen. So for me personally, like, I'm super invested and excited for this just because of that fact, because it hasn't existed before. A live action version of this has existed, a motion comic has existed, but there's never been an animated version of Watchmen. So for me, I'm super down. Again, I wish it wasn't 3D. I'm not a 3D guy. I don't like 3D animation. You know, when they did that with Baki in the first season, it drove me absolutely bananas. So not for me, but regardless of that, it still looks amazing. Everybody looks like they should look. The characters look like they should look. The moments, every moment I'm noticing is real moments. And see, even like this, the silhouette, bro, that's such a comic book moment that excites me, because that kind of stuff was skipped in Zack Snyder's version. You know what I'm saying? You only saw it in the motion comic, which is the comic. So this is going to be the definitive way, hopefully, to watch Watchmen. That's what I'm hoping for. This is the true definitive way to watch Watchmen. Because right now, if you're to ask somebody, well, how do I get into Watchmen? You pretty much got to watch a 6-hour motion comic. Or that's it. That's the only way. Or read the comic. You know, Zack Snyder's version of Watchmen is so like incorrect and over fetishized and the wrong things. Even though I love that movie, it's just not what you expect out of Watchmen. And I'm a person who saw Watchmen first from the movie. I saw the movie first, then the comic, then the motion comic, you know, or a movie first, motion comic, then TV show, right? So like, and I even see it while dealing with the motion comic and the regular comic, how different, you know, Zack's version was. You know, granted, he's doing a movie, so he had to like wrap it up differently. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm excited for this, man. I'm very curious to see what they keep in and what they take out. That's going to be the curious part for me. So we'll talk about more of that when it actually comes out. I'm going to leave you guys on that note, man. This looks freaking awesome. Again, not the biggest on 3D, but forget the 3D. It still looks really, really solid for what it's going to be. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are a smart way to break it up, as well as like a Dune Part 1, Part 2. It allows you to do 2 to 3 hours without tiring people out. So I'm down, baby. All right, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. If you can do me a big favor, I just released a new animated music video for Not Like Us. It's with Death Note. It's got Kendrick. It's got L. It's got Light, and they're fighting each other. Kendrick is L. Light is Drake, essentially. And it's a pretty funny like music video I had a good time with. If you could just do me a favor, go find that bad boy below somewhere. I'll have it pinned up, hopefully. Check that joker out, man. And yeah. I'll see you mofos on the next one. If you haven't done so, leave your boy a like, subscribe. Tell me if you're excited for the Watchmen. What ways did you get into Watchmen? What Watchmen stuff have you seen? Let's talk about it, baby. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.